All right, guys, today I'm going to show you how to install a light bar on your Jeep, and I'm going to explain why I've got to do it on mine. So stick around. I think you're going to enjoy this. All right, guys, so this is my old light bar. Not exactly happy with this. Me and this light bar got into a fight up on the 15 freeway out in California about a month ago. Needless to say, I won. So as you can see, or if you've noticed in the videos, the Jeep has been missing the light bar now for about a month, but I got a new one, and today we're going to install it. I'm going to show you which one I chose, and I'm going to show you the easiest way to put this thing on there. So you ready? Let's get started. All right, guys, so the light bar that I chose to replace that one with is going to be a 50-inch ultra bright white light bar. I chose this one specifically because it had both the spot and the flood patterns. Those of you who have had light bars will understand why you kind of want both as opposed to one or the other. Plus, on top of that, it's not your typical light bar design. So check this out. Let's get this out. If you look, this is actually pretty sleek. It's a lot heavier, actually, than I would have expected it to be, but I think this is going to look pretty sharp on the Jeep. This guy right here is actually just a cover. We'll figure out how to get that off here in just a moment. But as you can see in the back, it doesn't have your typical fins back here. The idea is for this to be a lot quieter going down the road. All right, so with the cover off, you can see we've got your flood patterns on the sides and then your spot pattern in the center. This is actually a pretty sweet light, guys. Can't wait to turn it on and see what it actually looks like. Now, as I'm sure you can tell, I had a light bar up here before, so I've already got the brackets installed. These brackets you can pick up at Rough Country, Amazon, Quadratech. They're actually all over the place. Do an internet search, they're usually like 80 bucks. Brackets are easy, and they bolt right into the side of the existing bolts that are on the side of the windshield. They are available both for JL and for JK models, but they're not interchangeable. So brackets on a JK will not fit the windshield on a JL. So just a little helpful tip right there. Anyways, since we've already got the brackets up, all I have to do is get the light up there. So if you give us a second, my wife and I are going to get the light hung, and let's see what it looks like. All right, so a lot of people will tell you to get a 52-inch light bar. Why? Because the size of the windshield up here from side to side actually measures 52 inches. But I feel that 52 inches is actually too wide for the light bar, because as you notice, the brackets, just about every set, no matter what kind of brackets you get, all fold in to hold the light bar. So a 52-inch pushes this bracket out, and it creates a wind gap over here, which frankly looks like crap. So by choosing a 50-inch light bar, you can actually suck these brackets a little bit closer together, and you get a much cleaner look. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so apologies, we had a wind gust come through. It actually knocked my camera over while we were hanging this up there. So unfortunately, we didn't get the whole installation, but as you can see, we got the light bar hung. And when we were talking about it being 50 inches versus 52, let me show you what I mean by no gap on the side of the windshield. Come here, check this out. Okay, so your good light bars that you get from your name brand manufacturers are going to come with their own wiring. So you have a complete wiring harness, including a switch, the relay, plug, everything that you need in order to make that work. Now in our particular case, we already had a light bar up here, and I've got a pretty cool little relay system in here with wiring already run. So all we got to do is connect it to what's already here. Okay, so since I already have my wiring and this is coming from my relay box, which I'll show you in just a minute. This wiring is a little on the long side. We don't want it to look too gaudy out here. So we're going to match up this length, and we'll say cut it right about here. And let's shorten this down to what we need. The wiring on the inside, put a little bit of shrink wrap on the outside. This will make it weather tight, so since we know it's going to get wet at some point, this will help at least protect the wires a little bit. So now we have the light bar connected back to the wiring. I think this looks a lot better, and we're going to fight with it a lot less than I fought with the last light bar, especially up on the highway. But before we get into cleaning up, buttoning up, and showing you some really cool things, let's just do a quick test and make sure this thing works. I told you that we had a relay box and everything set up, which is really kind of cool. Let me show you the setup that we have in here, okay? I got this set up on Amazon for $130. It was actually pretty cool. Tucks right in the corner here on the JK. Has all 6 relays for 6 switches, fuses, and all the wiring and everything ready to go. Ran it across loom over to the battery so that it has power. The rest of it runs inside the cab to my switch pod, and then I don't have to worry about setting up any special wiring or figuring out how a relay works or anything that can get very complicated when it comes to electrical wiring in a vehicle. This kit made it extremely simple. In fact, in the description down below this video, I'm going to include a link to where I bought it on Amazon if it's something that you're interested in as well. If you were starting from scratch with putting the brackets on, you do have to remove factory bolts and put those on. It's an extra couple steps, but honestly, it's really not that much more time. The hardest part about installing any light on your Jeep is going to be the wiring. This kit that I showed you in here, this is the easiest way that I found to do it. I actually run my side lights, my top light, the lights that are up here on top of my roof rack, all the lights that are up front, and my underglow lights, everything runs off of this switch pod, and all I had to do was plug it in. So it's super simple. If you like this setup, please let me know what you think. I really kind of like this light bar. We're going to take it out on the highway right now, and we're going to go see just how much noise it makes, because it's supposed to be a quieter one. All right, folks, so we are currently moving about 75 miles an hour. There is no wind noise from this light bar. There's noise from my tires, but there's no noise from the light bar, which is just incredible. That is actually the fight I got into with my last light bar, because it just screamed going down the highway, which is the biggest complaint that I hear all the time about putting a light bar across the front of the Jeep. But I want you to just listen. No screaming. It's incredible. This light bar lives up to the description that it had, that it was not going to make any noise. So I'm going to put a link to this light bar in the description down below this video. I promise you this is actually going to work. Now we are actually heading out towards trail system down on the east side of town. We're going to let the sun go down, and let's see just how bright this light bar is. All right, so I definitely think it's dark enough. Let's turn this light on and let's see what it looks like. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Whoa!
Holy macaroni, that thing's bright.
Look at all the dust.
Oh my
Right?
glob.
So just for comparison, those are my headlights, and that is that light bar.
It's beautiful.
All right, guys, so honestly, I'm actually really happy with this setup, and it is super easy to install. I know I didn't get a chance to actually show you how to run all the wires, mainly because I already had all mine run. However, I do have a whole new switch pod to install and all new wiring to run for a couple of other lights. So I'm going to make sure to film that so that I can show you just how easy and simplistic it is to use a switch pod that is already set up. Meanwhile, if you haven't checked it out already, I'm going to put a video right about here. This is a contest for a light bar that we are actually giving away. It's still open this month, so make sure you get a chance to check that out. In the meantime, happy Jeeping, and we will see you next time.
Woohoo!
Heard.